Hello. Today's video is purely optional on your part. There's nothing on here that's going to be on a test, but I thought it might be helpful to kind of talk through the forms that I had done. So this is really my main form, and we have this household information up here at the top, which has got a compound key of the person and the month. And then we've got two subforms below, and this one is a one-to-many, so one household can have many members. I fill in the first row. When you pick a household, I fill in the first row with the head of household, because the household's always got to have this person in it at least, and then users fill in the rest of them. And I've got the aid that was distributed to the household is also a one-to-many. And so we've talked about one-to-manys and talked about the relationships and so forth, but a lot of users have trouble understanding what you're talking about. But when you say, in this month for this person, they have these members and this distributions, it makes more sense. So what I'm going to do now is try to show you how we populate these things. So if we change the view to the design view, and we look at household head, this field, and go to events, we can see that we have on change something happens. And in fact, at the very top, let's go up here to the very top, you're going to say that you want the option compare database, and you want the option explicit. You need this to be able to get to the database that you're using. Option explicit says that you have to define a variable before you can use it, which in any language is good. We're then going to dimension a variable called db, and it's going to be as the type database. And we're going to dimension a record set as the type record set. Alright, so it calls household change, and all that does is call the subroutine household alter. And if we come up here to household alter, we find out that we dimension a bunch of things. And we say, do we have the month value, do we have a month value in the field aid month, which is this one. If we don't, we'd go to find month, which is up here, and we say, okay, if the find month value is greater than 0, we're happy. Else, we're going to open up the current database and set it equal to the variable. We're going to take the variable we defined at the top, db, and set it to current database. We're going to assign a record set to this database's open a record set, and we're going to use this query, and we need database operations snapshot and read only to reduce the overhead, because all we're doing is reading out of this. We're not going to change the data in this table. And so we're going to say we're going to find first, and this is our select statement, where the calendar database month is equal to the month, and the calendar year is equal to the year. And notice up here that we set the month and year are current month and current year. And so if we get no match is true, then we put out a message that says, hey, you got to put another month in. And we open the form aid month so that they can do that. Otherwise, if we got here, we say that the aid month is equal to the month ID that we found in our select. Okay, so now we know that we have a month. And I do this when I'm trying to debug something, and so originally I said if 1 equals 1, and it's going to, and the address is greater than 0, then we're going to do something. But we didn't. I'm now done with that testing. And so I'm saying if 1 equals 1, if 1 equals 2, which is never going to happen, so we're always going to go to the else. So again, I'm setting the database to the current one. I'm defining a record set, and I'm going to use household query this time. And for that record set, I'm going to find the first where household head equals me dot the value I got off of the form, and the aid month equals the value I got off the form. And notice I didn't get here if I didn't have an aid month. Okay, if there was no match true, then I've got a problem. And I'm saying find the first household where the value is that, and called set house owner. Else, I'm taking the values that I found up here and filling in the form. I'm getting ready to open another record set, RSOM, and it's going to come from the house member query. These two again because we're only reading. I'm saying for that record set, find the first where the household head equals the value from the form, and the month equals the value from the form. If there's no match, close the form and set, and we're going to do a different query. So I'm not going to follow through all this. You have all this code, but the point is this is how you make selects back into your database with VBA code. And like I say, all these examples are here. Down here, what I'm doing is I'm going to read more than one. Before I was just trying to get one. Here I'm going into a while, and for each loop of the while I'm opening a record set, finding the first from this query where the household head equals that, and if no match, then I'm setting this value on the form, and so what I'm doing here is filling in all the members of this household. But because I'm inside this while, and I can do the do command, go to record, and read the next record, and then close. So, again, I hope this didn't confuse you. If it did, give me a call. We'll set up a personal GoToMeeting where we can wave hands and so forth. but we're talking about doing a lot of beautification of your forms, and I wanted you to understand where you could find examples of reading from the database with VBA so that you could have some idea. The other thing is, I found all this out by Googling and watching videos, and I think there's a high probability that there may be a video that you like better out there than I. Also, the need to do these type of subforms are very powerful and make your data a whole lot more usable. And in addition to this video, I'm going to include links. The same place where I have the link to this video, I'm going to link to 3 other videos that show you how to use subforms and tabs, and I think that using them will make your projects a whole lot more useful. As always, stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy. Thank you.